Hey everybody, welcome back to Rediscovering Innovations and Patents. I'm your host Elena, and this is Foxy. And today we're diving into one of the wildest, most eyebrow-raising inventions in parenting history, the baby cage. Yeah, you heard that right. A wire cage that hung out of a high-rise apartment window with a baby inside. It sounds like something from a horror movie today, but back in the day, this was seen as cutting-edge childcare. Fresh air for city kids, patented ingenuity, even endorsed by folks like Eleanor Roosevelt. But how did we get here? Let's go all the way back to 1884. Our story starts not with a gadget, but with a book. In 1884, Dr. Luther Emmett Holt, a big name pediatrician in New York, published The Care and Feeding of Children. This little paperback became the Bible of baby rearing for decades. It went through multiple editions and parents devoured it. And one of Holt's big obsessions, airing out babies. He wrote, and I quote, "Fresh air is required to renew and purify the blood, and this is just as necessary for health and growth as proper food." He believed exposing infants to outdoor air, even cold air, would harden them up, improve digestion, boost appetite, and make them less prone to colds and sickness. This was an idea that was tied into a huge medical movement at the time, the open air crusade against tuberculosis. TB was killing thousands in crowded cities and bad ventilation was blamed. So doctors pushed fresh air like it was a miracle cure. Open air schools popped up where kids learned to be bundled up outside in all weather. Sleeping porches became a thing, and for babies, well, if you lived in a tiny tenement with no yard, you got creative. Fast forward to 1906. Enter a young mother in New York City who knew nothing about babies. Her words, not mine. That mother? Eleanor Roosevelt. Yes, that Eleanor Roosevelt. Eleanor and Franklin's first child, Anna, was born in 1906. Eleanor, feeling totally out of her depth, followed the experts, including Holt's advice on airing, but they lived in a townhouse on East 36th Street. So no backyard. So what did she do? She bought a chicken wire cage, basically a big homemade box with wire sides, and hung it right out the window for Anna's naps. Neighbors were horrified. One even threatened to call the authorities, said it was dangerous. The baby crying out there, dangling stories above the street. Eleanor eventually stopped, but the idea stuck. Fresh air was worth the risk, right? Or so they thought. Jump ahead to the 1920s. Urbanization is exploding. More families crammed into apartments. Smoggy air, no green space. Somebody needed to solve this properly. Enter Emma Reed from Spokane, Washington. In 1922, Emma applied for a patent on what she called a portable baby cage. U.S. patent number 1,448,235, granted in 1923. Her design? A wire mesh enclosure about 36 inches long, 24 wide, and 27 high. Big enough for a baby plus some toys. Slanted roof to shed rain, floor with bedding and brackets to hook securely into a windowsill. The idea, slide it out the open window, baby gets sunshine and breeze, while mom stays inside doing chores. Emma's patent drawing shows it perfectly, this sturdy little balcony for babies. It was practical, portable, and aimed right at city parents. Around the same time, other window cribs were floating around. There's mention in the 1920s book called The Health Care of the Baby by Louis Fisher, praising something called Bogan's window crib. Exact same concept, similar dimensions. So by the early 20s, the idea was gaining traction. But where did it really take off? Not America, but London. In the 1930s, London apartments were packed, gardens rare, air thick with coal smoke. The baby cage became a sensation. Neighborhood groups like the Chelsea Baby Club handed them out to members who had no outdoor space. City councils embraced them. In 1935, the Royal Institute for British Architects actually called these balcons pour bébés, essential for middle-class housing. Photos from the era are wild. Rows of windows with these wire boxes sticking out, babies snoozing or playing above the street. There are newsreels too, moms cheerfully placing their little ones out for airing. It was seen as modern, healthy, responsible parenting. Now, fast forward through the war. During the Blitz, obviously nobody's hanging anything out windows. Too risky with the bombings. But after the war, in the early 1950s, they made a brief comeback. British Pathé newsreels from 1953 showed them again, demand outstripping supply at some welfare centers. But that was the last gasp. By the second half of the 20th century, the baby cage faded away. Why? Safety concerns finally won out. More cars on the street below, fears of structural failure, strangers on the ground, or just the optics of a kid in a cage. Stories up. Changing ideas about child protection, better parks, air conditioning, suburban sprawl, all played a part. No big bang, just quite obsolescence. Today, looking back, it's equal parts fascinating and terrifying. What seemed like loving innovation to one generation looks like reckless endangerment to us. But it came from a real place. Fear of disease, limited space, and a genuine belief that fresh air could save lives. So that's the strange tale of the baby cage. Born from a book in 1884, patented in 1922, peaked in the smoky skies of 1930s London, and quietly retired when the world decided some risks just weren't worth it. What do you think? Genius solution or total nightmare? Drop me a message. I'd love to hear. My email is listentorip@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time.